Welcome. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm going to give people 30 seconds to a minute to settle in. And while I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping with you. So the first bit of housekeeping is this is interactive. So you're going to see that I'm going to ask of you to participate and be part of the group discussion. You can do that in the chat box. And I'm also able to unmute you when you do come in as well. So let's see who we've got coming in. Okay, welcome, welcome. If you want to pop on over to chat and just introduce yourself and maybe the name of your business if you haven't already, and we'll start there. And while that's happening, I'm going to put a link in chat and I'm going to have everyone check that they can open up the link and access all the handouts that are going with today's session, which is Bring Your Business Idea to Life. So I'm putting that in the chat for everyone. You can respond back to me and let me know if you're able to open up those documents. Hopefully you can, so give me a thumbs up if you can do that. I'd love to make sure that everyone can do that as well. My name is Linda Griffian. I'm the Education Programs Coordinator with BusinessLink, and my role is to develop and design and bring some of these workshops to folks all across Alberta. And thank you for joining me today. So if I could have a hand from anyone who's able to open the link that I put in chat. So raise your hand if you were able to open it and say, yes, awesome, perfect. Thank you very much, Angelo. Okay, before we begin, I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge and respect that we are on traditional land, meeting grounds, territories, gathering places, and traveling routes of Treaty 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10, and the home to many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge the lands of those who've come before us, reside here now and in the future. Thank you for coming today. Most of you are either subscribed to our newsletter or maybe you've stumbled across the website or someone's told you about BusinessLink. Just a brief overview for everyone. We are a nonprofit. We've been around since 1996 and we're funded by the government of Alberta and the government of Canada. We help small businesses start and thrive. So you could think of us as the 811 for entrepreneurs. If we don't do something, we're able to direct you to the resources of people who are able to do things. So that's really who we are and what we do. So we have a lot of different programs and a lot of different things that we do, including you can call into the 1-800 number and talk to one of our business strategists who provide one-on-one business advice. We do some business coaching. We have a mentor program. We have lots and lots of different programming. So do feel free to explore the website and find out what all the things are that we do. We also have our big interactive business plan builder. And that's important for you to know today because today we're going to work on a small business plan together. We're going to do a one-pager. And we're going to get you going and focused on a bit of that kind of work together. And we're going to talk about what business is, how it works, what happens there. And you can apply everything you learned today to integrating it into a larger business plan if that's where you're going with your business plan. So I first want to know from everyone, and you could type it into chat, what stage of business you're at. Are you in the idea stage? So you're less than maybe 3 months old, you're thinking about what it is you want to do, you're not quite sure, maybe you've put some ideas together, but you're really in the planning and thinking mode here. If you're in startup, you're 1 year or less old and you're already doing active things like looking for clients, registering your business, checking out licenses, doing some market research, that sort of thing. So let me know in the chat what stage you're at. If you're in 1 to 3 years, you're in sort of a growth kind of stage with your business, which means you're growing and maybe feeling some growing pains. And if you're 3 and up, you're in expansion mode. You are maybe seeking out lending and lenders and funding for what it is you want to do. So I have someone here who's indicated, hi, Sarah, that you're in the idea stage of business. Anyone else want to chime in what stage of business they're at? That way I know a little bit what kinds of things to include in today's session as well and what kind of questions we're going to have in the session. So that's helpful for me to know. So we have idea, we have startup. No matter what stage you're at today, portions of this program will probably be helpful to you. So some of the things we're going to talk about today are, and let's just talk about a little bit what's going on um, with what we're doing. We know that people start businesses for a variety of reasons. We know people do it because they want freedom of choice. They want freedom to design their own incomes. Maybe they want to give back to the community. There's so many different reasons people start businesses. I've had a business now for almost 30 years. It's a Alberta Corporate Registry. And the reason I started that one was because I really felt passionate about it, believe it or not, corporate work. I'd worked with a lot of lawyers and a lot of law firms and a lot of those types of people in a previous business I had, which was a courier company that specialized in doing courier work for law firms. So it really was, for me, it was about just wanting to change my lifestyle a little bit too. I was tired of 80-hour work weeks in a courier company with stuff that broke down. And I thought, wow, if only I could work in an office, I'd be thrilled. And so I started to build a business based on that opportunity. So anyone can start it, anyone can move it forward, but it really takes some skill sets to develop. So you'll be learning, lifelong learning as you start to build your business. So some of the things we're going to talk about today is the difference between having an idea and building out a business model, because those two things are very, very different. We're also going to talk about what you need to understand about processes and systems, what that is for a business and why it's important to know what those things are and how to design a business. We're going to talk about the 3 roles you're going to play in your business as well. And you may play one or all of them at any given point in time, but understanding what they are and how that works and why those things are important. So really this is about, think about this as year 1 of university for understanding how to start up your business, because it's easy to get into business, but it's very difficult to understand sometimes what business is. So we're going to dive right in. I'm going to play a short video here called Life as an Entrepreneur, and it's just going to give you a little flavor about some of the things we're going to discuss and talk about today. And Julian, I'm just going to ask if you can give me a thumbs up if you hear the sound.
Business ownership
Awesome. Okay.
is an appealing career choice for all kinds of people. Owning a business allows you to be the master of your time and income. However, it's important to understand the commitment of time, energy, and lifelong learning that's involved in owning a business. In this video, we'll look at the overall picture of life as an entrepreneur. Is your mind constantly spinning with new ideas? Are you full of enthusiasm for a specific product or idea and get excited about creating a company around it? Are you inspired by organization and processes? No matter what inspires you, any reason is a good reason to become an entrepreneur. Understanding your core strengths will help you identify where to spend your time, what skills you need to learn, and which positions you should hire for. Here are the 3 most common roles a business owner may take on. The visionary. In this role, you lead your company, inspire your team, and create a vision for the future. Being a visionary can feel lonely. Your ideas can be ahead of their time, or the marketplace may not embrace you right away. Your amazing ideas are limited by your ability to build the systems and processes needed to bring your vision to the market. The technician. Here, you're involved in the day-to-day work and performing all the tasks yourself, answering all the calls, returning all the messages, and sorting, building, and shipping the products. Being a technician places you in the role of employee in your company. If you are completing all the tasks all the time, you risk burnout. Remember, employees work limited hours, receive benefits, and can leave their work problems behind at the end of the week. If you're the person responsible for all the work in your business, the company cannot grow. The manager. In this role, you build the processes and systems that keep the company running. Great managers find a way to let their teams do the job and pull themselves back from the day-to-day work. Which of these roles feels most natural to you? At different stages of your business, the roles you play may change. Entrepreneurs often find themselves stuck in the role of technician or employee. For many, learning the role of manager is the most difficult. If you tend to be a technician or visionary, then management will feel uncomfortable. It may help you to think about starting a business in the same way as starting a professional career. Just like many professions require extra years of learning, owning a business means spending extra time solving problems and learning new skills. Professionals spend their careers maintaining specialized skills. As a professional entrepreneur, you'll be learning new skills and identifying where you need to grow to keep pace with the changing marketplace. The difference between you and other professionals is that you'll identify which specialized skills to learn for yourself and which ones are best outsourced to others. For example, many business owners try to learn a skill such as bookkeeping to better manage their company finances and then get stuck completing this task for too long. While bookkeeping is important, it's a skill that can be outsourced inexpensively. A more important skill to focus on would be learning the language of finance and how to apply key financial strategies to growing the business. Always ask, is this task something I should be doing myself, or are my skills better applied to growing my business? If you wish to grow, then it's time to put on your manager hat and learn how to delegate basic skills in your business. If you ask this question about every task you're performing and every skill you're building, then you're learning how to work on your business instead of in your business. Remember, you didn't sign up for a career as an entrepreneur to work 60 to 80 hours a week. Your business should work for you, not the other way around. It's a wise investment of time to build your manager skills so that you can enjoy more time outside of your business. Once you put on your manager hat, you'll see how important it is to build a team of support around you. It's a myth that businesses are built by one person going it alone in the world. Your team may include advisors, such as an accountant, bookkeeper, and lawyer you hire for specific needs. It can also be your network of informal advisors built through attending industry events and workshops. Reach out to organizations such as Community Futures and BusinessLink, who can provide business support and link you to even more resources for financing and planning. If you are becoming an entrepreneur to enjoy more time off and financial freedom, be sure to communicate with your friends and family about your career choice. They're the most important member of your team. There may be times during your business career where work-life balance doesn't seem so balanced, or finances may be tight, and their support matters. A rewarding career as an entrepreneur is all about doing the work that matters. Your mission is to take an idea from planning to reality and beyond. Recognize the components of the work you do, implement, monitor, and improve the systems to make your dream happen. Learn to appreciate the ideas and energy from others that contribute to your success. Don't be afraid to take a step back. Assess where you need help. It's all part of your professional development as you build a rewarding entrepreneurial career.
All right. So, couple of takeaways I'm hoping that you receive from the video. The first takeaway is you're entering into really a career. So just like a lawyer or a doctor, business ownership is a career. So I'm hoping everyone has taken that away and that you're going to think a little bit about how you're going to treat the learning processes as you go. The second thing is the roles that you're going to play in your business. So for most people, some roles are more natural than others. Who here identifies as entrepreneur, who as manager, and who as technician in their business startup right now? So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just, what is the role you feel most comfortable with right now as you're starting your business? Do you have the visionary pieces together? You really have a vision of where you want to be in 5 years and what that looks like? Are you the person who's building the product or service? That's more the technician role. Or are you someone who already is starting to organize and coordinate and delegate the operations and the people? So maybe if I could get an idea from you in chat, maybe what role you think is most comfortable for you right now. Most people have one that's the most comfortable, and then a second and a third choice. So it's important to kind of know what you think those roles are for yourself. And while I wait for that, I was going to do something else a little bit with you today. I did not come up with the concept of roles in business or that sort of thing just on my own. There's a great coaching organization out of the US by a fellow named Michael Gerber. And he's been around for, I don't know, maybe 150 years or more. He's been doing this a very long time, working with entrepreneurs all across the globe. And he's the one who's really come up with some of these concepts. I'm going to share a little bit here with you because I think one of the things you want to really think about is uh, how do I get out of technician role? In particular, that's the role you don't want to be in your business for very long. So the organization he runs is called eMyth, and the book I highly recommend. So I highly recommend you start a library, a business learning library for yourself. This is one of the best things I did when I started my company, my second company in particular. I didn't do it with the first one, but with the second one, I was not going to make the same mistakes I did with the first one. So with the second one, I really paid attention to what it was I needed to know and learn so that I didn't end up with my 80-hour work weeks. One of the things I learned was that I was the technician in my business. I was the one doing everything, building everything, doing it all. I had this concept around me that, oh, I couldn't afford people to help me. I couldn't afford to do this or that. And I had to do it all. And I really had to step back and rethink how I built my second business. And one of the tools I used to do that was a book that he's written called The eMyth Revisited. So I highly recommend that everybody visit this website, take a look at some of the stuff, especially at the bottom of the page. So we'll get rid of the cookie ask here. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and really read the blog. Get some of the freebies off of this website. And I'm also going to encourage you to make sure that you buy the book called eMyth Revisited. It's a very simple read. It's easy to read. I'm going to pop into chat the link to this website. And then the book that I'm going to recommend you start your learning library with is called eMyth Revisited. It's very inexpensive. If you have a library card, you can get it from the library. If you have Spotify, I believe you can get it as audio on Spotify. However you tune into books and learning, this is the first one in your library. So I'm going to tell you that this is library start number one for you. And here he tells the story about someone who started basically a gal who started a pie shop, all the struggles she has. So it's in very much a story format. And it really helps you identify probably what you're seeing as your own struggles as well. So that's the first share I want to do with you. The second share I want to do with you now is I want to make sure that everyone has the handouts, and we're going to go through one of the handouts together. So let's share. I'm going to start with share with you. And for those of you who haven't clicked the link in chat open yet, this is what you should see in the link that I placed in chat when we started the program. And the first thing I want to show you out of all of the handouts that you have is the Small Business Startup Guide. So we're going to talk a little bit here. I don't want to spend a lot of time here on pre-planning. You know, many of us start a business where we're not so necessarily, you know, engaged with 6 months of income in the bank and all of that good stuff. That's not so easy to pre-plan sometimes. I know I started my business very much with no money in the bank and needing to feed myself. So that's not always for everyone to have all their pre-planning in place. But I do want everyone to think about when they're looking at this startup guide, I do want you to think about some of the things on your checklist. So make sure you've reviewed a little bit what your personal financial situation's a bit like. Do you already have some paying customers waiting? Most of us don't when we start a business. What do you have that's going to sustain you and help support you a little bit in the background while you get this going? In some cases, it might be that you're holding down a part-time job while you're building your business. Whatever that looks like, do a little bit of thinking a bit around that for sure. But what I'd like to get to very quickly here together is thinking about your business a little differently than you might be thinking about it now. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between a business idea and a business model. So when we talk about a business idea, we're saying sentences like, I would like to sell digital courses online. I am starting a coaching company. I am starting a plumbing and heating company. So I want everyone to point out to me in chat, if you could, what your idea is. So what kind of business am I starting? I am starting a pet food business. I am starting a whatever that may look like. Uh, Maybe just type that into chat so I have an idea what some of you are doing. Recruitment coaching. Okay. Who else do we have? What else do we have? Sarah, are you recruiting? Who are you recruiting for? I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Angelo, what kind of business are you starting? Okay. It's okay to share. This is supposed to be interactive, so please ask questions. Please share. You want to teach individuals how to write resumes and attend interviews. Got it. So these are people maybe in career transition who have been maybe laid off or transitioning out of work into different work. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's a business idea. That's what we're talking about when we say business idea. A working business model are all the systems that we bring together to generate money from the sale of the products or services that are around that business idea. So the actual business is the set of processes we're building to get that product or service out to market to generate income, to generate revenue. So as we're thinking about building a business, what we're trying to do is understand all the things we need to know to build all the processes we need to build. And there is a process sheet in your handouts, and we'll talk about that a little bit further in. But for now, what I want to do is have everyone take a look at this in their small business guide in their handouts. And we're going to answer a few short sentences here, very short. I'm going to give us 2 minutes for each of these. So what I want to understand is, what is the problem my business is solving? That's a big one. So rather than what is the business thing that I do, let's rephrase, what is the problem my business is solving for a potential customer? There's only 2 reasons in the world why people buy stuff. Does anyone know why people buy stuff? Psychologically? Anyone want to guess why people buy things? Just throw it out in chat. Why do you buy stuff, do you think? Because we can't build a business plan unless it's needed, okay? You need something. So what are the things in the world you need? Food, clothing, and shelter. What else do you need? Okay. So people buy out of need. Humans need food, shelter, clothing, functionally speaking, to survive. After that, everything else is a want, an add-on, an extra. So people buy for 2 reasons. They buy for pleasure and pain. So when people buy stuff, it's either because they are giving themselves some sort of pleasure or they're solving a pain in their life that is being solved through product or service that they're buying. So an example would be people buy life insurance, not for pleasure, but because they are trying to alleviate the pain of financial hardship for their family if they pass on. If you go to a coffee shop or Starbucks or a place like that, you're purchasing something for pleasure, maybe pain if you're a caffeine addict and you need to alleviate that. But typically you're going to purchase coffee and treats and restaurants and those types of things for pleasure. So what business are you in? Are you in the business of pleasure or pain or a combination of both? That's the business you're in. So when we look at the question, what is the problem my business is solving? Let's think about an answer there. So what problem are you solving for a potential customer? Or what feel-good answer are you providing for them if you're in the pleasure business? And once you know that, then the next step in the process of building a business plan is, what is the solution I am providing to those folks? So we're going to stay on those two questions for 10 minutes. We're going to stay on those two, and we're going to talk about how those two questions integrate with the lean template that I'm going to pull up next. Those are the only two questions we're going to talk about on that particular guide. Then I'm going to go to the lean plan template with you. So hang on, I'm going to go there next with you. So while I'm getting there, I want everyone to think about what is the problem your business is solving and be able to write that out in a sentence. And the solution you're providing, and being able to write that out in 1 or 2 sentences. Then hopefully I have someone who wants to share that with me. Okay. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to share the next template with you, and we're going to move to that template next because we're going to spend a lot of time here. Next. You're trying to solve the client's cleaning and their facility maintenance problem. You're close. Probably trying to solve the client's cleaning and their facility maintenance problem. Who is the client in this case? Is it a large organization? It sounds like it. Like a apartment building or a restaurant or something like that. Is that your client? Is it a business client? Adelaide, I'm gonna pick on you. Is that how I say your name? I'm gonna message. Yes, commercial cleaning for businesses and organizations. Okay, that's the business thing that you do. Who are the decision makers who would purchase your product or service from you? You're in a business to business environment, and I think, Sarah, you might be in a business to business environment as well, and maybe a business to consumer environment if you're marketing yourself to consumers as well. So you might be marketing yourself to companies who are laying off employees and need that service for their laid off employees, but you also might be marketing directly to those employees. I don't know that yet. We're building up the plan here. Let's talk about commercial cleaning. Who's buying? Who's making the purchasing decision in a business and an organization that is going to sign a contract with you as a commercial cleaner? Who is that person? Is it someone in building operations? Is it the building owner? Is it the company they've contracted to do their building operations? Is it, if it's a restaurant, is it a restaurant owner? Is it a restaurant manager? Who are the customers in those large businesses that you will be making your sales calls to? Okay, depends on the organization setup. What problem are you solving for them? What pain are you solving for them? If they already have a cleaner or they already have a company doing the cleaning for them, why would they switch to you? What is happening to them that is giving them some sort of pain? Is it that they don't have someone already doing this for them? Is it because they're doing it themselves and they're tired of doing it themselves? Are they unhappy who they're currently with? What is painful for these people? That's how you make a sales call to those people. They're having hundreds of sales calls a day from people like you saying, we can commercially clean your building. I know because I have a friend who's in the commercial cleaning business. Knock, knock, knock. We are a commercial cleaning company and we can clean your building. We are a commercial cleaning company, we can clean your building. We are a commercial cleaning company, we can clean your office. We can clean your co-working space, we can clean your restaurant. Nobody cares about that. What you need to find out is what are they currently experiencing as a problem with their existing supplier, and how can you solve that problem for them? So maybe you're not just in the commercial cleaning business, you're in the problem solving business. So maybe the problem you're solving for them is that the current company they have doesn't have very well trained employees who are doing a very good job of cleaning. So the building is dirty, or they don't understand that, or maybe you're walking into a restaurant and they're tired of having 3 different cleaning companies do 3 different things. One's doing the hood fans and the grease gutters and everything else, and another's doing the floors and the common areas. Whatever that may be, what problem are you solving for them? Maybe that's painful for them. Maybe it's painful for them to organize 3 different companies to do one job in their facility. Once you know what that is, then you're having a discussion with them about how you can solve their problem and what your solution might be. So I want you to think about it that way. Sarah, pain of unemployment, education for individuals to do better in the work, coaching, training, and education for individuals. Right. So what kind of individuals are coming to you? Are they white collar employees who've been laid off from high profile positions? Are they CEOs and that sort of thing needing that kind of work? Are they people who are in the blue collar labor force and have never maybe drafted a resume and trying to switch gears from blue collar to white collar work? What kinds of potential clients are yours, Sarah? Schools, churches, not professionals. Okay. So what is the pain point for these particular people? Is the pain point that they've never drafted a resume, done job interviews before? Is the pain point that they're new to the country and there's a language barrier? Is the pain point something to that degree? Because that's different than the pain point of someone who used to be a bank account manager and is looking to upgrade their resume and polish it off and apply for a similar job in a similar organization. Okay, it's not professionals. The reason you need to know this is because that determines your marketing and your messaging and how you position yourself with your business in the marketplace. So when we talk about target market and who your competitors are and the channels that you're going to utilize to get your message out and find your customers, you need to know who you're solving a problem for and how you frame your solution. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want everyone to go to this lean business plan that I have on the screen and really think about the top 3 areas. Describe your business in 1 sentence, what you do and who you do it for. So now we're going to change your identity a little bit from I am a facility and maintenance cleaning company to Maybe something more along the line of, we provide high quality, professional, experienced cleaners familiar with how to manage and maintain commercial facilities. Maybe you're targeting that. Maybe the message you're sending out is that you're looking for more high-end clients who are willing to pay more to solve a problem. Maybe what they're experiencing is the cleaning company they're currently using has high staff turnover. It's high staff turnover in that business. It's usually subcontractors paid low wages, and it's usually people who come and go quite frequently out of the organization. And it's often people who aren't trained how to do the job and how to do it right. And so what this potential client of yours has ended up with is a great low price, but none of the work done properly for them. And since you do not want to compete in price ever, you need to come up with a different way to compete in the marketplace. And maybe the way to compete is to not worry so much about price, but think about how you can offer a high value service and what the unique value is to your business that you can consciously and thoughtfully articulate to a potential client. So Sarah, in your case, you're looking for individuals that don't have the resources financially. So maybe they don't have the resources financially for what you do. Thank you, I believe that's spot on. So maybe the difference between your cleaning company and others is maybe you have people, instead of being subcontractors, they're employees, and you have to pay them a little more, and you have a little more cost there. So maybe it's a little more costly for your labor, maybe. Maybe you provide incentives to employees to stay that are different from your competitors, and you provide proper uniforms. So if you see companies like Paul Davis, or you see a ServPro and companies like that, they're not the cheapest companies to do the cleaning in buildings. However, they have a whole different approach to how they sell their services, because they make sure their vehicles are clean, their staff are paid well, the shirts, the shoes, everybody shows up, everybody's trained. There's a training program in place for them to understand how to do the work that they're doing. So maybe that's where you're putting a lot of your resources right now, is into developing the programming and all the HR pieces and operational pieces of your business that will allow you to retain your employees a little better, to have a higher quality of employee. Maybe you're participating in programs that are helping new immigrants to the country. So maybe you can receive, funding and supports that help you train them, teach them how to do those things, give you supplies and supports to do that, and purpose. Maybe you have a purpose-driven company. Maybe your identity is, we deliver high quality cleaning services by respectfully giving living wages to our employees, offering opportunities to those who wish to learn, and high value, highly trained, motivated cleaning staff for your business. Maybe that's the identity of your company. Sarah, in your case, the problem you are solving is that a lot of people aren't financially able to access the resources that allow them to move from where they are in the world to a higher position in the world, because they don't have the resources and skill sets to draft the resumes that make it through all of the different AI in all of the different organizations to get to the interview. Or maybe they don't have interview skills. Maybe because you have that experience in a larger company, you can share and mentor that experience with them and advise them on whether or not they're on the right path with their resumes, that sort of thing. But those clients can't pay you. They are, though, members like you've identified of organizations that potentially could. So maybe what you're doing is you're offering your services in a group environment to churches, immigrant organizations, newcomer programs, programs like Momentum, where they're teaching people how to transition their careers, that sort of thing. And maybe what you're doing is you're offering group coaching there, and you're saying, okay, organization ABC, you have the government funding and you have the funding to do this, but you don't necessarily have the staff and the operational organizational support within your organization to provide those services effectively, because you also don't have anyone on staff who has recruitment experience and can design programming for your clients. So you're actually solving a problem for the organization. And by solving a problem for the organization, you're serving their end client. So what problem are you solving? Maybe the problem you're solving is that nonprofits, government-funded agencies, organizations who are currently funded and designed and built to help these particular types of clients do not have the internal resources or experience or insight into the corporate landscape to give those clients a high quality program that will take them from where they're at to where they want to be. So the problem you're solving isn't just for the end client, it's for the organization serving the end client. So that's the problem your potential customer has, is they don't have internal staff or internal budget or internal resources to build out a good solid program that can be delivered. Maybe what you're doing is building a program for the organization that they could deliver internally to their clients. You don't necessarily have to deliver the program. You can sell them a licensed program that they can deliver to their clients with their own internal resources. Maybe you have a train the trainer program and your actual clients are those organizations. Does that give you some ideas on problem solving and solution giving in a B2B environment? Because that's where you're selling there. That brings us to target market. Who are your customers? Is anyone on this session in a business to consumer marketplace? You're going directly to consumers. Check that out. Yeah. Okay. Hands up if you're all looking at this page, how to fill out your lean business plan. Okay. So you initially, but if successful, you'll grow into group clients. So maybe what you're doing, Sarah, is you're doing some test program building with the consumer client at the end, seeing if it's successful with them. And if you built it out successfully and you get that client set of testimonials, you could take that program and bring it to the organizations. Maybe that's how you're building that particular piece out for yourself. Okay. So this is why we spend so much time on identity, problem solving, solution, and we're also going to spend a lot of time on target market. Because not everyone is going to be your customer. You will be niche marketing your business. Not everyone in the world is your customer. You're going to have to decide who those ideal clients are. You may have segments of them, you may have different ones, and you may be building products and services for different types of ideal customers. but you have to think about who the person is in front of you that you're solving the problem for and what a day in the life of them looks like. So I'm going to pause the share. And this is the second book I want everybody to get for their business library. Hopefully you can see it now. It's called Duct Tape Marketing. Everyone should be bookmarking this website, downloading some of the freebies and white papers and inexpensive things from here. But John Jantsch is a former student of Michael Gerber with eMyth Revisited, and he has been around also a very, very long time, but he has something called Duct Tape Marketing as his program. And it is a perfect, inexpensive book to buy. It's called Duct Tape Marketing, and it walks you through all the basics of what marketing is, what some of the terminology is in marketing, how to think about putting a customer through a sales hourglass or funnel, what all of those things are, and how to think about ideal customers and to do all of that. Because before you can start marketing your business, you need to know who it is you're going to market to and how you're going to do it, because you don't want to waste money on marketing that doesn't work. So all the work we're doing about what problem am I solving, what solution do I have, who is my ideal client, is all about understanding that you're going to be sending out messages to people all the time to get them to know you, like you, trust you, and then buy from you. And that there are many, many, many different ways to do that in the world. Maybe your business isn't so great in terms of being out there on Facebook because you're in a business to business environment. If you're in the commercial cleaning business, maybe Facebook is not a marketing channel for you. Probably not. Maybe a marketing channel for you is industry association blogs, industry association magazines, that kind of stuff. You may not have a whole lot of online presence other than a basic website and email newsletter subscriptions and updates and things like that. Maybe those things are much more productive for you. Perhaps LinkedIn is a better channel for you. There could be all sorts of channels available to you to market in that are great for other people, but not so great for your business. And the reason they wouldn't be great for your business is because that's not where your ideal client is playing and living and working and breathing. So you need to figure those pieces out before you start to, build that site and build those marketing schemes and get onto social media and TikTok and everything else. Because if you don't know those things, you may be in totally the wrong place. Is it advisable for a startup using the services of a third-party company and getting leads? Sure, but you first need to know what you want to accomplish. What do you want to accomplish? That's what we're going to talk about here. You need a strategy before you hire anyone to do anything for you. So remember earlier on in the conversation here, we talked about business is a set of processes and systems working together to get your product or service out the door and into the paying hands of people. One of the big processes in your business is marketing. And before you go out and hire somebody to do that for you, you should know the language of marketing. You should understand what it is you want to accomplish and what is a good return on investment, and where your ideal customer is and who they are and where they hang out and what they do and how they live, so that when you get to the point of hiring a third party, they're not giving you just random leads from some database in Beijing somewhere. Like making cold calls for business in my area to get meetings with companies needing our services. So who are they going to cold call for you? Who are they going to talk to? What are they going to say? What is the message you want them to give to a potential customer? Do they know what your business identity is and how you want to present your business to potential customers? And will they present your business to potential customers the way you want them to? And are they talking to the right people in those organizations? So you need to dig with a third-party provider and say, well, who who are the businesses that we should decide together you're cold calling? What is the message we want to portray with the cold calling? What is the return on cold calls? So if you're calling 100 people a day, who's calling? Is it your call center in India calling? Maybe that's not how I want to present my company. In my business, I market to professional law firms and accounting firms. I don't want some third-party cold calling law firms and accounting firms who cannot speak the language clearly and who cannot provide the message clearly and give me the follow-up clearly with the organization, because that's not going to give me a return on investment and it's not representative of the messaging and the identity I want to present. So you need to be very careful to do this piece of it first. Okay, to understand, because otherwise you're not going to get a big return on investment at all with cold calls. There's potential with, everybody will tell you, with direct marketing. So cold calling is part of a group of marketing called direct marketing. So it used to be in the old days, you would send out mailers to people's doorsteps through direct marketing campaigns with Canada Post in the days when we used to get tons and tons of flyers in the mail. That's direct marketing. Cold calling is direct marketing. Having an email newsletter for your company is direct marketing. The return on direct marketing is better than lots of other kinds of marketing. It is. But before you can do it and get that return, you need to start here. Let's talk about who is the ideal client. What are the processes you're going to have in place to generate the right leads to go into your marketing funnel so that you can have a third party help you be cold calling and doing the right things to the right organizations and providing them with the right message. Okay, it's all about the messaging. So if the message for your business is we are high end, we have high retention, we give back to the community, we are engaged with our customers, we're doing follow-up checklists with you, we will call you every 2 weeks to get feedback on the services. If that's how you're presenting your company to customers, then someone cold calling them saying, we can do this for half the price of who's currently doing your business is not going to be helpful to at all in a cold call. Someone who's cold calling and saying, did you know that there is that the commercial cleaning company blah 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 in town is doing whatever, this is their mandate, this is who they are. If you're currently not satisfied with the, if you're currently not delighted with the service you're receiving from your existing cleaning company and looking to upgrade your services, would you be open to meeting with someone from ABC Cleaning Company who can talk to you about the difference between them and the existing company you currently have? Can we set that appointment for you? That's a different cold call, completely different cold call. And you won't know what to tell these people until you do this work. So everybody, next book in your library is this one, Duct Tape Marketing, and go to this website and start to learn about the processes of marketing. Okay. So that's one process in your business, one, marketing. Before you can hire people to do things, before you can do your own, before you do any of it, put a strategy together, because it's going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars in wasted advertising. Before you do it, understand your company's identity, the message you want to give to the world, and who the ideal client is. So let's take a look at what we mean when we say things like ideal client. do. And you can learn a lot about ideal clients. See if I can get the Prism 5 postal code lookup. Here we go. When we talk about ideal client, you're trying to understand them demographically, psychologically, all kinds of geographically, however you want to describe them. So who here wants to give me their postal code just for fun? We're going to talk about it. Can everyone see my Prism 5 screen first and foremost? Let's make sure we've got that. Just give me a thumbs up if you can see Canada through a whole new prism. Good. Okay. Who wants to provide me with a postal code? This is market research. This is part of what you do to understand your industry, your clients, and your competition. You do a little bit of market research. BusinessLink has an entire market research department that we provide and help you with for free. We have a course on market research and how to do it. And we can help you get some of this done. And it's all for free if you visit the website and learn a little more about that. Who wants to type in a postal code or give me a postal code I can type in here so you can see what an ideal client might look like and how a description works for that. So this system has defined 67 categories of consumers all across Canada. There's one of these for the US as well. No one wants to put in a postal code. Julian, do you want to throw a postal code in here? Come on, everyone. I want you to see all the great things you can do when you're building out your business plans. Here we go. T3R 0K9. So let's take a look at this neighborhood. And when we're talking about, how do I know where to put my direct mail and my marketing and all of that kind of stuff? We're talking about these sorts of things. So hopefully. Why am I in a holding pattern? I'm in a holding pattern here for a reason. Can everyone still hear me? Is this website that's giving me the holding pattern? It is this website. Here we go. So this orange pin on the map shows us where in Canada this postal code is. All the other purple dots across Canada show us where this identified group of consumer segments live all across Canada, where these purple dots are. It's called modern suburbia. Here's the description of this neighborhood: multi-ethnic, younger and middle-aged suburbanites. This segment represents 3% of Canada's population and 2% of their household. Talks about their income, their net worth, their occupations, what they look like. It's one of the highest percentages of suburban households in Canada. It's a magnet for younger and middle-aged, culturally diverse families with young children. Does this describe your neighborhood, Adelaide? First and second generation Canadians from Asia and South Asia, right? How they think. So if you're in a business to consumer environment, say you're in retail, say you're in restaurant, say you're even in online shopping or online sales, what is something you might want to consider collecting as part of the information and data gathering you get from your customers as you get them? Probably their postal codes. and their email addresses. What can you do with that information? You can create email newsletters, which are direct marketing, have your customers sign up for them, and you can tailor your messages based on profiles of them. This is basic customer profiling 101. So the email newsletter you send out to this group of people is going to look different. Let's take a look at Sarah's postal code, T8H0L7. Let's try that. T8H0L7. Let's search that postal code. Family mode, very similar. Look at all the purple dots across Canada. Who they are. More than 1 million people, one of the largest segments and growing. Large suburban families living in recently built houses. So this will be a new suburb. Mid-sized cities, so not big cities, but mid-sized cities like Calgary, like Oakville, like places like that. Mostly high school and college educations, gray and white collar jobs. There's their average household income. A typical weekend includes going to arcades, indoor amusement centers, and dinner at family-friendly restaurants. Does this describe your neighborhood, Sarah? Out of home or outdoor advertising affects how I see a brand. I do more entertaining at home now than ever before. I love sharing my vacation experiences on social media. How I live. Talks about how they shop, what kinds of restaurants they go to, types of vehicle purchases they make. This group of people you would market to differently than you would to, say, the group up here called Scenic Retirement. So you may have products or services that would fit both of these groups of people. But you may have a newsletter going out to both of these groups of people that has different language in it and different price points and different things going on. This is the importance of understanding how marketing works before you spend on it. Because you want to understand your ideal client. And maybe you're not in a business to consumer environment. Maybe you're in a business to business environment and your ideal client is the typical building operations manager. Put together a sheet describing who this person is. Is this person who's a typical building operations manager? Are they a middle-aged white male coming from a certain part of the city, living in certain neighborhoods with certain values? Is it a young new female immigrant managing the building operations? What are the educational backgrounds of those people? How do they think and how do they live so that you can speak to them about the problems you're helping them solve? Because someone in a business to business environment is not going to buy from you unless you're solving a particular problem for them personally. So that's what you want to find out in a business to business environment. So the challenge when you go into an organization is finding out who the decision makers are, what makes them tick, and how you can solve a problem for them with the product or service you have. That's a whole different way of thinking about presenting and solving a problem for potential customers. Does that make sense? Okay. I am not going to go through some of the tactical things. You can get lots of tactical information. And if you don't mind, Julian, if you're on still, can you put the link into all of our short videos and help guides on the new Business Link website so people can, on our website, you'll be able to see how to do business registration. We have 90-minute workshops on that. You'll see short videos on that. We have blog posts on that, help on that. Lots of help on some of those tactical things. Today, I really want to work with you to talk about strategic things because that's what we're doing when we're building a business plan. Is thinking about business in terms of strategy. So I'm not going to cover a lot of tactical, what is this thing you need to do and what is this agency you need to hire? I want you to think about what are the languages in my business I need to learn, and the strategies I need to think about for each process before I start to hire for it, before I start to go out and market for it, and before I start to build my pricing for it. That is going to get you a little further ahead than just where do I go to register my business and what do I do to hire a third party to do something for me, okay? So you're learning sort of, this is what you need to know to build systems and processes, and then to be able to effectively delegate those things to other people to help you do them. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do today. So this one is called First Steps in Business. And before I run it, I just want to make sure I share it with sound. Yes, I did. And here we go, another video.
Many new entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed starting a new business. This video will share some great resources and help you.
I can't hear the sound. Can anyone else hear the sound? Let's try it again.
Many new entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed starting a new business. This video will share some.
Julian, are you hearing sound on this? I'm not. So I don't know if it's
Linda,
me.
I am hearing. Are you not able to hear the video through your side?
Oh, you can hear. Okay.
Great resources and help you organize your questions into common business categories so you can find the right answers from the right sources quickly. Let's start with the basic requirements to turn your idea into reality. You will need a formally structured business. In Alberta, the three most common types of business structure are sole proprietorship, partnership, and incorporation. Paperwork filing is a privatized service with several providers able to help you file your documents with the Government of Alberta. They are registry agents, paralegals, legal and accounting firms. The cost to register can be wide-ranging as this is an uncapped government service fee. In Alberta, the Government of Canada business number is automatically assigned to your new business when you register it. The business number is just like your personal SIN, only it's a 9-digit number assigned by the federal government to identify your business instead of you personally. You'll refer to your business number on any communication you have with the CRA about GST, corporate tax, payroll, and importing and exporting. You'll also need this number to bid on federal government contracts. You can learn more about the business number by visiting canada.ca and searching business number. Sometimes your business will need permits and licenses. Business licenses are granted by the municipality in which you live and work. Check your local municipal website or call to find out about any special business licenses required and the fees to register. If you're a member of a professional association, your association may require your business to comply with its regulations. To learn more about any special permits or licenses needed in Alberta, visit servicealberta.ca and search Get a Business License. Your business will collect money and deposit it into a bank account separate from your personal account. It's important to shop around for good rates for your merchant credit card accounts and for a bank account manager who will work with you to understand your business as it grows. Account managers are a free resource for you, and a good account manager will help you monitor the health of your business, introduce you to other lenders, and guide you to hidden financial products to help you manage your business. Now that you have your structure in place, let's organize all those other questions you may have into some basic business categories. You can download our resource guide that accompanies this video to learn more. Planning. Putting the pieces of your business plan together can be challenging. Organizations like Community Futures and BusinessLink provide free and low-cost support to help you every step of the way. Human resources. Any questions about hiring, training, organizing teams, and managing people belong to this category. Operations are the systems you need behind the scenes to move your product or service from production to delivery. This includes items such as the physical space you need, equipment required, building permits, inventory, and more. Finance deals with how to track the flow of money in and out of your company, how to access funding from lenders, how to pay yourself, and how to comply with CRA tax filing requirements are questions that belong here. Marketing involves all the processes needed to attract customers to your business. This includes website development, social media, e-commerce, branding your business, and protecting your brand with trademarks. Sales. Do you struggle to get people to buy from you even if they seem interested? The process of turning a marketing lead into a happy customer is called sales. Download the resource list included with this video to learn more about each aspect of your new venture. Enlist the help of a business link or community futures advisor in your area for information on planning, expanding, or financing your business. So, what are you waiting for?
All right. So, of course, one of the big processes we just finished talking about was marketing. Does anyone want to name a couple of the other processes that they've identified based on the video? You want to stick that into chat for me and we can talk about those next. The first steps in business processes are in the handouts as well. So one of the handouts is the handout that comes with this video that's on the Business Owner website. So I want to get to maybe the importance of understanding that your business model is about those processes. We really tackled it when we talked about before you hire anyone, before you do anything, you want to make sure you understand what your end goal is going to be with your process. So one of the big processes in your business, along with marketing, would be HR, your people processes, human resources. So if your business requires people, maybe not now, or maybe it does now right away, depends on your business. But if you think your business is going to require people, then the ability to hire them, train them, fire them, or move them into different positions and do employee evaluations and that sort of thing, the whole process around getting that piece done is called HR. So that's a language of learn as a business owner is what does it mean to have HR, human resources in my business? What is the language involved? So it's things like workers' compensation, it's things like employee benefit programs, it's things like recruitment, it's all of those things involved in your organization that require you to understand the people piece and how to take them from first hire to when they leave, retire, or are fired from the business. So that's the HR process. The marketing process is all the strategy and all the things that surround how to message to the world your product and service capabilities and what they are and how to attract and acquire clients. So generate leads. That's lead generation. Your sales processes are the processes in your business of what happens once I have that lead in my business? What happens to that person or that organization once I've captured them as a lead? Well, then you have to close the deal. That's sales. So what is the process we have in place for that? Is that a salesperson? Is that a process at checkout? Is that add-ons? Is that all of those different things? So that's the process-driven piece there. How do I track the money coming in and out of my business? How do I account for paying my taxes? How do I plan for the future funding and lending and growth of my business? Well, that's the financial processes in my business. There's a whole language around finance that as a business owner, it's important for you to learn and understand so that as you grow in your company, you have a dashboard of information in front of you that you can make decisions about. So if you understand what a balance sheet is, what a cash flow statement is, what a profit loss is, and you understand how to do break-even analysis and what price points are and how to manage and understand those things, then the people who are doing the work for you in those areas, you can speak to them in the language that they understand because they do it every day. And you can say, we pull up an analysis here of the pricing around this particular revenue stream in the business? And can we see what the direct and indirect costs are here so we know we're pricing ourselves properly, and that we're generating net income, and that we've accounted for taxation, and that we've accounted for potential growth. That's the financial processes in the business. So those are three big ones already we've talked about. Operations. That's the stuff like maybe the trademarks and the intellectual property and the licensing and all the administration and the functional processes of manufacturing your product or service. All of those pieces are your operational pieces. How do we get our product and service from a thought to being built, to being efficient, to going out the door, and to having that follow-up piece done? And what are all the requirements from a paperwork and a facility standpoint for that? That's operations. So that's why I'm trying to get you to think a little bit about your business in a process format, because otherwise you might find yourself in a couple of years stuck still doing bookkeeping, not really knowing why you're still doing bookkeeping, or you're stuck paying for ads in community papers, or you're stuck with a website that doesn't seem to be working, or you're stuck with things that don't seem to quite be working. And it's because you need to go back to the basics and understand what you should be doing, back to that technician and manager role, and what you should be doing maybe at the beginning and learning, but outsourcing as you get more revenue coming through the door. Does that make sense? There we go. That's your sheet. Operations, human resources, financial systems, marketing, some of your executive systems too. So you might not be alone in your business. You may have partners. You may have other directors of your company with you. You may have managers who come on board. That's sort of the executive system in your business. How are you managing those roles? Is it better for a start to hire on a temporary or permanent basis? Hire what? That's a tactical question. It is staff members. So your cleaners, depends on how you build your business model, whether it's better or not. So when I had my courier company, we had our couriers hired as contractors, but we also issued them a T4A, and we had requirements of our contractors as to what they did and how they worked and everything else. It depends what your goal is with your business and what your identity is with your business. So the team. Right. So again, back to the identity of your business. Is it more expensive, maybe, to hire people as employees and do source deductions and do all the training and maybe pay them a little bit more and have that'll be a very big cost to your business. It'll be a partial direct and a partial indirect cost to your business. Is that the route you want to take because you're marketing your business as something different and unique from the others? What are the pros and cons of doing that in your business? The pros of having people on staff and the pros of having training programs in place and employee benefit programs in place and having a good HR system in place. That's what you're going to need for your particular business, is a good HR system. An employee handbook, labor relations code guidelines, a very set structure and job descriptions for your employees, a chart. Maybe you and Sarah need to talk, but you can actually have the help of a certified human resources professional help you build those things out. You can hire someone who helps you build your HR system for you. I don't know if people know that. I used to be an advisor with the Business Development Bank of Canada. There's one of their small business advisors. We used to manage projects all across the country for different suites of advisory services. And one of the things we used to do for a small business was if they had a BDC loan and they wanted to pay for advisory services, and we would have an HR program they could pay for, where we would have them sit down with a certified human resources professional for 3 months, and together they would build their human resources structure for their business. You can certainly do that. If you have not been, I'm going to stop sharing. If you've not been to the BDC website, I'm going to get everyone to get onto that. They have a whole entrepreneurial toolkit that helps you do these things in your processes. But hiring and retaining staff in a lot of businesses right now is a huge challenge. Huge. You're competing for people. And that means you're thinking about your business identity and how you're marketing to your potential customers. So if you go to the BDC website, everyone should see that now, and you hit the search box, just type this in, Entrepreneur Toolkit. Let's do it. BDC has hundreds and hundreds of articles and hundreds of downloads and hundreds of resources, all for small entrepreneurs. So again, here we go, starting and buying a business, strategy and planning, marketing and sales, employee management. Here's where you're finding a lot of that information, how to manage employees, how to hire them, what you should know about them, how to recruit them. All of that kind of information is here. And then you can take this information and you can go to search. Yep, that's Panel Center certified. Oops. Google is your friend. Chartered HR professionals. Resources, partners advertising, consultant directory. There's a directory of consultants. What you want to do is you want to build your employee chart, your handbook that's Alberta biased, based on Alberta labor relations. You want to have an employee manual. You want to have job descriptions for each of the types of jobs in the business. You want to build that out. And maybe in your business right now, you're the only one doing all of it. Keep a notebook next to you. One of my business mentors did this for me many, many years ago. He said, Linda, if you're spending all day doing bookkeeping, if you're spending all day, because your staff keep quitting on you, your staff keep quitting, you're doing all the bookkeeping, you're doing all of it, Linda. If that's the experience you're having in your business, you're doing something wrong. It's not the people around you doing this stuff wrong. It's you. So one of the things I had to learn, and I'm not very good at, and took me a long time, took me about 10 years to learn the people piece. So the first business I had was full of subcontractors, full of vehicles, full of stuff that broke down all the time, full of all kinds of stuff. I spent most of my weekends at Pick Your Part. I spent most of my cold mornings in -30 in the winter, not having any staff show up to do package delivery. It was brutal. It was a terrible business. I worked 80 hours a week and I did it all wrong and I didn't learn anything new. And I didn't know what I didn't know. And it was brutal 4 or 5 years for me to do that. And I vowed the next company I started, I was not even going to have people. That's how bad it was. It was just awful. And that's when I, stumbled accidentally across a business mentor who said, Linda, you got to just sort of figure that piece out. It's your fault. You're not keeping staff. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow, but it was very true. So if you want to keep staff, they need to have a sense of direction from you, and you need to have a program in place to manage them. When I worked in fast food in Toronto, I'm originally from there, and that was in the late 80s, so I'm old. When I did that, I worked in a place called Lick's Ice Cream and Burger Shops in Toronto. We charged double what anyone else charged for a hamburger. We dressed things, and at the table, we dressed all sorts of fresh lettuce and sprouts and things on your home, big giant burger, and you could get milkshakes and everything else from us. We sang home burger songs to the customers. We did all of that. We had our uniforms. We had to show up on time. We had 18-year-olds who were crew managers at this place. But the customers lined up at the door. They paid double the price of the competitors up the street to get the experience. And the staff, we had staff crew in before each shift in the basement. We would have our outline for the shift. We would have the crew manager go over everything with us. We would have responsibilities given to us that no one else was giving to us as 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. And at the end of each shift, we were rated with gold, silver, bronze stars. And if we did really well and had, a good month of gold stars, the gold star employees got to go to dinner theaters and high-end restaurants with the business owner. And that was our reward. We didn't get paid a lot, but at the end of the month, if you were a gold star winner, you got to go to fancy places you wouldn't have gone to in the world. There's lots of ways to do employee reward programs and lots of ways to do those things and engage your staff and keep them engaged. So think about that, because if you rely on people, which you do in a cleaning business in particular, or a restaurant business, the turnover rates of staff are super high, just massively high. You'll spend much of your time dealing with that. And you want to get a handle on that piece of your business early. And you want to really think about what would keep me here as an employee, since if I'm not the owner with a vested interest in making millions of dollars, what keeps me here making $20 an hour? What would keep me growing in this company? Would I want to see opportunities to become a crew leader? Would I want to see rewards for shifts well done? Would I want to have uniforms and understand that I'm getting a good rate of pay with potential benefits and that sort of thing? What would keep me here? And then how do you sell that as a higher price to potential customers? Because it's going to cost you more maybe than your competitors to do it that way. Okay. Let's open it up to some questions. What are some burning questions you had before coming into this session today that need to be answered? And/or what is something you maybe learned that is something new you're going to think about? There's the business BDC website. This is your time. I've done tons of talking. I've done all the talking. So please, if you've got something that you need an answer to, I know, Abelaide, you've been asking lots of questions that are very tactical. I really want you to think about the tactics as separate from the strategy. So that's an important piece. That lean template we all looked at, you can use that for any business, and you can use that as your starting and launching point for just getting your stuff down on paper. Get the basics down on paper. You don't have to think it through deeply. It's not a deep thinking project. It's getting you to write it down, and then you can expand on your thinking from that. And you can use the BusinessLink Interactive Business Planner for building out the bigger business plan. I'm providing a platform for plant lovers that allows anyone to sell their plants. Okay, plant lovers. Okay. Okay, so I'll answer a few questions here. For plant lovers, so you know that your ideal customer is plant lovers who love to share their love of plants and sell their plants. Sounds like that's you. Where else do you find people like you? There's probably plant forums. Does it have to be a specific age? I don't know. I think plant lovers come in all ages. Uh, so people who are going to buy and sell plants. Okay, so those are people going to garden centers who are buying the plants. Is it people who grow their own plants wanting to swap plants? Doesn't have to be a specific age. Okay, so it's like plant swapping. Why do people do that? I'm curious. Why do you do that if you're doing that? So why wouldn't you just go to a garden center and get your plants? Just for my own. Some people enjoy the growing process. Okay. But just because you enjoy the growing process, does that also mean you enjoy these? Would these people be and they exchange cuttings? Ah, okay. Exchange. Where do they normally do this if it's not online? Do they do this at farmers markets? Do they marketplace? Oh, Facebook Marketplace. They exchange cuttings on Facebook Marketplace. So would you want to have people, do they exchange it for free right now or are they selling it to each other? Okay, you don't have the platform up yet, but on Marketplace currently, when you're doing all of this cutting, plant cutting, are people exchanging their cuttings for free already? Are you part of a group that does this already? Okay. Your new venture, okay, under franchise for a while, just with the business stand strong before doing it alone. I believe that's a personal question. When you purchase a franchise, you're purchasing someone else's prefabricated systems and equipment and leads and everything else. So you're buying a job for yourself, or in the case of cleaning, you're probably buying a territory plus all of the, when you buy a franchise, you're buying a business that has all the processes set up for you, so you don't have to do all of that hard work. That's why you're paying money up front, and then you're paying licensing year after year after year to access someone else doing the entrepreneurial work for you. Your job is to show up and do the work and maybe help build the geographic area. If that's more to your liking and you don't want to put the time and energy into creating your own systems for your own business, then franchise is definitely for you if you've got the money to invest. Then it becomes a matter of picking the right franchise. And if you're picking a franchise to purchase, go to the Canadian Franchise Association. I think that's what it is, Canadian Franchise Association. And make sure you buy one that's highly rated there. That's what you want to do. Now, both sell and free. So you can't have a business if things are happening for free. So who's doing that? Andrea. So you're not going to make any money on the plant exchanges themselves as a business, by the sounds of it. What you are going to maybe make the money on is the marketplace, the ability for people to be connected to other people and share their stories and share their tips and techniques and tricks and everything else, and maybe expand on that in another way. I think the challenge for you to do that though is that there's so much free platform stuff out there already. So it's like, join my TikTok group all about, plant cutting and watch my plant grow in stopgap motion or whatever it may be. So you really have to think, is this business idea something I can translate into a model? Take 30 minutes to do the lean business plan from start to finish. And maybe start with what is the thing I'm selling? Even, am I selling a platform subscription for something? Am I selling the actual cuttings? What are the different things I would be potentially selling to generate revenue? Because I think maybe that's where to start. Okay. Okay. So here's the Franchise Canada. You're looking for listings of franchises and you want someone else to put all the processes together for you, and you just go out and deliver the product or service. That's what a franchise is. Any other questions before we sign off for today? Let's see if I've got anyone else. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming aboard today. You have the handouts. Make sure you've downloaded them. You've got them. And really start to build that library and stay connected with BusinessLink. Keep taking some of our online programs and courses, stay connected, build that one pager, take 30 minutes this week, build your one pager, start to think about it. And I'm going to wish everyone luck with their venture as well. Thanks for joining me today.